Brilliance Audio presents In an Instant by Suzanne Redfearn. Performed by Jesse Valinsky. Mrs. Kaminsky knew before it happened. Until that day, we thought she was a psycho mom, neurotic and paranoid. Behind her back, we called her the warden and felt bad for Mo for having to deal with such a phobic, obsessive mother. Sheltered was an understatement for the way Mrs. Kaminsky guarded her daughter. Birthday parties at the beach or pool were off limits, unless a lifeguard was present, and Mrs. Kaminsky was allowed to be there as well. A 40-something shadow lurking on the sand or at the water's edge, hovering watchfully beside the reveling 12-year-olds. Disneyland was out of the question. Though she was a small, quiet woman, barely 5 feet tall, with a kind smile and exceeding politeness, it was hard to believe how unyielding she was about watching over Mo. Secretly, we wondered if something traumatic had happened to Mrs. Kaminsky when she was young that had made her so protective. But Mo said that wasn't it. She said her mom just believed that nobody looked after your children the way you looked after your own. It was a generous view for Mo to take. Her patience far greater than any of the rest of us would have had for our moms interfering in our lives the way Mrs. Kaminsky did in Mo's. 6th grade science camp was when her resolve finally softened from granite to steel, slightly more malleable, but not by much. Every 6th grader, except Mo, was going on the trip. The teacher called Mrs. Kaminsky, then the principal, then my mom. It was my mom who convinced her. My dad was going as a chaperone, and he would personally watch after Mo. Perhaps it was because she believed my mom, or maybe it was because she trusted my dad, or perhaps it was because she realized she couldn't hold her iron grip forever, or maybe it was because the camp was so important to that year's curriculum. Whatever the reason, for the first time in Mo's 12 years, she was allowed to leave the nest without her mom at her side. Since then, Mrs. Kaminsky has repeatedly entrusted us with her daughter, each sacred trust prefaced with assurances from my parents of, "We'll take good care of her. She's in good hands. Mo is like a daughter to us." Throwaway platitudes I wonder about endlessly these days, questioning whether those cliched, careless words influenced what happened, or whether they were meaningless, and that things would have happened the way they did regardless of what had been thoughtlessly promised beforehand. Over the years, I was entrusted to Mrs. Kaminsky as well, but my parents never asked for guarantees of my safekeeping. Mo is an only child, so I was taken along as company on all the Kaminsky vacations. I've been to Africa and Spain and Thailand and Alaska. My parents eagerly agreed to each invitation without the slightest hesitation or demand of reciprocal pledges of protection like those given when we took Mo. Perhaps it was assumed it went both ways. Or maybe deep down, my parents knew the promise wouldn't be granted, which would have made the decision to allow me to join them awkward. I imagine my parents understood that Mrs. Kaminsky's fears were based in a deep-seated self-reflection, that she had considered the possibility of a fault rupturing, or a volcano erupting, or a ship sinking, and knew, faced with the dire choice, she would take care of her own. And though Mo and I were close as sisters, I didn't qualify. From my earliest memories, I can remember my sisters, my friends, and me rolling our eyes whenever Mrs. Kaminsky was mentioned, how we thought she was crazy. No one calls her crazy anymore. She knew. Before it happened. And I wonder, how? Was it because she was a prophet? A visionary gifted with preternatural premonition? Or was it exactly as Mo said? A rational, well-considered protective stance based on the simple understanding that no one watches over yours the way you watch over your own. Knowing hers would be saved second if a choice needed to be made. These are the things I wonder now. After.